Hello and welcome to another Metaphysical Monday. It is October. We are talking fall and Halloween and guess what else? Ancestry work. So the picks for October, that's what we're going to do today, is all of the picks. We're going to do a crystal, an herb, plant, something along those lines. We're going to pull a tarot card for the month, and we're also going to talk about a symbol. So our crystal for October is Carnelian. I chose solely based on color. And then we're going to talk about pumpkins and seeds and how you can use them this month, and really any month. We'll pull a card. I haven't pulled the card yet. We'll pull the card together, and that will kind of be, you can either take it as a reading or you can just have an energy to focus on for the month. And then our symbol for the month of October is the pentagram / pentacle. I'm going to talk about the differences between the two. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Melissa, and welcome to Metaphysical Monday on Uncensored Intuition. We do this every Monday. I throw in tarot card readings on random subjects and topics, and if you have a topic that you want a reading on, pop it in the comments and let me know, and we'll add it to the list. So that with all of that being said, let's jump in. Carnelian. All right, so I want to show off my flame. I wanted a carnelian flame for like the longest time, and then I finally found one. It's a little bit dusty, so we're talking about carnelian here. It has a little bit of a cave in there. It is commonly red orange, and it does have clear quartz or white quartz included sometimes. It is a form of chalcedony or chalcedony, however you want to say it. I've heard it pronounced so many different ways. Here's a couple of little looks. Like this one is super dark. This one actually came in a bath salt. Yeah, and there's like a little cave of druzy in there. It looks like it's just dirty, but they're little crystals. And then here's some like lighter ones that have more, they're a little bit more translucent. It just depends on where they're mined, really. This one's got like some cracking in it, some like crackling. And then there's a little tiny guy that has some dark veins. Very cool. Just flip it over. It looks like a jelly bean. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. All right, so I wrote down lots of notes, so if I'm looking away, I apologize, but I don't want to forget anything. All right, so carnelian, some of the geek stats. I just knocked over my water bottle. Some of the geek stats. It is a 6.5 to 7 on the Mohs scale, which is a pretty hard crystal. No problem in water. This one that came in the bath salt actually took a bath with me multiple times, totally safe in water. And then it is mined, mostly found in Indonesia, Brazil, India, Siberia, and Germany. Although there are others, but most commonly those areas. It's associated with the root and the sacral chakra, and the element of fire. Imagine that. So a little bit of history on carnelian. It was worn by warriors for courage and physical power. In ancient Egypt, they called it the sunset stone because it caught and reflected the heat of the sun and channeled it into the wearer. So let's get into the properties. I'm going to do some physical properties that you can use it for physical, for your body healing, and also metaphysical. So for the physical properties, because it's associated with the root chakra and the sacral chakra, it is good for lower back, reproductive organs, the kidneys, liver, bladder, the organs that are in that area of the body. Also good for blood and for arthritis. So if you're looking to incorporate some crystals into some physical healing, that's what it could help with. Metaphysical, creativity, courage, things that you would associate with the sacral or the root chakra. So your sacral chakra is like your motivation, your momentum. The color orange is the color of the sacral chakra, red being the color of the root chakra. So it's kind of it varies because the color of the stone varies. But both, I feel like it could be used for interchangeably for either. regardless of the dark color or whether it's orangey or reddish, whatever. Stability, fertility, concentration, motivation, and self-esteem. Again, all associated things with the sacral mostly. Root chakra, grounding. It is a grounding stone. I don't feel like it's as grounding as, say, like a black tourmaline, or like a black stone. It is grounding, but I feel like it's a little bit closer to the sacral chakra, so it's more for creativity. That's what I would use it for. Doing a grid for creative, like you're in a creative business, or you're starting a business, or you're wanting to get into something more creative, it would be a good stone to incorporate into a crystal grid for creativity, or feeling motivated, or like if you've been feeling sluggish and you need that motivation, it would be a good stone to incorporate into your crystal grids, or to wear. I'm actually wearing carnelian, my little carnelian bat that I wrapped myself. But yeah, that's what it's good for. Personal power, I just kind of like heard that. So that is what we're going with for carnelian. I want to show her off again because she's so pretty. Actually, I feel like this has more masculine energy, honestly. But yeah, there's our carnelian. All right, now let's move on to pumpkins. Okay. I'm not talking pumpkin spice, and I don't feel like the actual pumpkin itself gets enough love during the season, other than jack-o'-lanterns and the spice, and then like maybe pumpkin pie. It's not really talked about as much. We talk about the protective properties and banishing properties of, the ingredients in pumpkin spice, but we don't I don't feel like pumpkin pulp itself, the plant, gets enough love. So we're going to talk about pumpkins and pumpkin seeds. I have a couple of pumpkins here, just to they come in so many different varieties, right? So I wanted to get one that was like a pie pumpkin that you actually eat. The big pumpkins that you carve, they don't taste very good. I mean, they're not poisonous or anything. You'd eat them, but you don't normally eat them. You usually get more of a pie pumpkin. I don't even know if this is considered a pie pumpkin. I might still use it for something baking wise, but different varieties of pumpkins, and I'm going to talk about a couple different varieties too. So we probably all know and associate pumpkins with Halloween, that we carve into a jack-o'-lantern, and there's a lot of history. I'm not going to go into that, but the premise is that carving a pumpkin, specifically faces into pumpkins, wards off evil. It also, like, the theory that the ghosts walk among us on Halloween night, putting the jack-o'-lanterns out protects them from the evil spirits from coming into our home and that sort of thing. But it is a form of protection. So if you wanted to do some protective magic, you could carve literally anything. You could carve some protective symbols or a sigil that you've made yourself. We'll talk about sigils maybe next Monday, or the one Monday after that. We'll see. I don't remember what order I have them in. But you could use a protective rune symbols, or literally anything that you think or feel is a protective symbol. You could carve that into your pumpkin. So carving pumpkins, protection. All right, so health benefits of the plant, the pumpkin. I want a plant. It's not a fruit, it's a gourd, I believe. So let's get into like the actual physical health benefits. Full of beta carotene, kind of like a carrot, same color, which your body converts into vitamin A. Great for eyesight. It has all of the B vitamins except for B12. It has vitamin C, vitamin E. It's very rich in copper. So if that's something that you are thinking about, or maybe just hearing this, you're like, oh, I should look into copper. It's a great way to incorporate copper, iron, manganese, phosphorus, potassium, and it's great for the eyes, and specifically also a good food to incorporate for those with diabetes or glucose issues. I am not diabetic that I know of, but I have PCOS, which stems from, oh my gosh, what is it called? Oh, now I'm blanking out, of course. But it has to do with insulin resistance. That's what it's called, insulin resistance, which is related to glucose. The pumpkin pulp actually can help with balancing glucose levels. So you don't have spikes in glucose or drops in glucose if that is an issue. So, those are the health benefits. Now, let's move into the metaphysical or spell work benefits. All right, so what kind of spells or workings can you use pumpkins for? Gratitude, kind of obvious because it's associated with Thanksgiving, specifically like your pumpkin pies. Abundance, because the spices that we use in pumpkin pie are protective, but they also, cinnamon is great for abundance as well as protection. So bringing in abundance, any type of creativity spells, again relating to the color orange, and can, oh yes, that is something specific. The white pumpkins particularly can be related, pumpkins in general can be related to moon magic or used in moon magic, or they're associated with the moon, particularly white pumpkins. You can set out a white pumpkin to charge in the moonlight and then use that in your spell work, and it gives it a little extra oomph. But yeah, so get yourself a white pumpkin while you're getting pumpkins. Now for, let's see, I already said that. Oh, also, if you charge your pumpkin under the moonlight, take the seeds and use those for, say you charge your pumpkin under the full moon, then you can take the seeds and plant under the new moon, symbolically or literally to grow them, for planting seeds of intention. So the new moon is associated with the beginning of the cycle, setting intentions, planting those seeds. So why not incorporate that into some type of working? And then let's talk about the seeds. All right, so there was one that I read, and I can't remember where I read. I will link a couple of articles that I found about pumpkins and pumpkin seeds in a metaphysical or magical working. I'm going to link those in the description, the blank. All right, so there is one in particular that is about taking 3 seeds, writing an intention on them under the full moon, and dropping them in a flowing body of water. So you would take 3 seeds, 3 pumpkin seeds, write like a single word, because they're small, single word intention in like a Sharpie, and you would take them under the full moon into a flowing body of water like a river or a creek or something where it's going to be carried away, and drop them in there. And that's kind of the planting of the seed, if you will, but it's kind of being carried away for the universe to take care of, or whatever deities you're working with, or however you view your magic, because I am not here to judge. All right. Another good one for the seeds was dressing them with cinnamon, nutmeg, the pumpkin spices that we all talk about, dressing them and then scattering them at your doorways. And that will bring in abundance as well as protect. So we have that you can use your pumpkin seeds for. All right, that's what I have on pumpkins. Now, I do want to say though that these videos I am not an expert. I am not here to tell you how to do your practice. I am not here to be the resource. What I'm here for is to inspire you to do more research. If you feel called to something or you feel drawn to something in one of these videos, that's kind of my goal, is to put some things out there that may inspire you to seek more information, or may inspire you to take things a little bit further, or maybe bring up something that you didn't realize and something clicks, and you take it further in your experience. So I really want to preface, I'm halfway through the video already, but I really wanted to make that clear that I'm not claiming to be your resource here. I am more of a muse, if you will. So any of these things that if they don't resonate, let it go. It's not for you. But I feel like my job here in this space is to really just kind of bring ideas to you that you may want to run with. And if you don't, let them go. They were for somebody else. So I just wanted to say that. And I probably should have said it at the beginning of the video, but I'm fighting a sneeze. I'm so sorry. All right. So let's move on to our protective symbol for the month, the pentagram and or / pentacle. So this one took me a lot of time to like research because there's a lot of information. There is a lot of history behind the use of the pentacle or the pentagram, and a lot of misinformation. So there was a lot to sift through and a lot to filter out. So I tried to get it as simply explained as I possibly can. But again, there's a lot of information. So if something I say doesn't sound right to you, or something I say makes it make sense for you, all the more reason for you to look more into it. If I say something that doesn't resonate or that really rubs you the wrong way, that's a little bit triggering for you in the other direction, where before I said I'm here to like inspire you to think or to research or to look more into things or to take action on something. Also, if you feel rubbed the wrong way by something I say, that is also another form of inspiration, right? So if something I say is like to you, then maybe that means that's something that you need to think about for yourself, or figure out why what somebody else would say. Anyways, that's like shadow work stuff. But anyways, so again, this is my compacted research on the pentagram / pentacle. So the main difference, the pentagram is a 5-sided star. Pent 5. Okay. That is a 5-sided star, typically representing at the top spirit, and then working clockwise. I don't know if it's gonna flip the video. Working clockwise, I'm going clockwise. I don't know if it's coming up counterclockwise to you. We have water, fire, earth, and air. Yeah, I always wanted to make sure I always mix those two. So for me, clockwise. So if it's not reversing it, it would be the other way for you. But you know what clockwise and anti-clockwise or counterclockwise is. So, and when you're drawing the pentagram, like if you're doing the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, I messed that up. I don't perform that, so it's not something I say too often. There is a specific direction that you're calling in. Again, that is for me to inspire you to do more research if you feel called to. Not here to go too in depth in that. Really just to dispel some misconceptions or give some clarity on the subject. The pentacle is a pentagram with a circle around it. That is the difference. Now, a pentagram is always a pentagram. 5-sided star is always a 5-sided star. The pentacle doesn't necessarily have a pentagram in it. A pentacle can be any symbol within a circle. If you made yourself a sigil and put it within a circle, technically, it would be a pentacle. Yes, that's why there's so much confusing research. So the same rules apply. We're going to talk about the pentacle that contains a pentagram because that is what most commonly you're going to see referred to as a pentacle. The circle, it's the star in the middle, the pentagram in the middle, is still representing earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. And then there's a circle around it that is to represent balance or harmony between the elements, okay? Most commonly. Yes, I already said all that. Okay, so primarily it's a Wiccan symbol, but that doesn't mean by any means that there is an exclusivity to it. Oh, there's like a net. It's not exclusive to Wiccans, but primarily Wiccans use it. But all faiths, all magical practices can incorporate this if they choose to. So it's not like a closed thing, but it's primarily used by Wiccans. let's see, there's a little bit of history that I wanted to show. Oh, speaking of other faiths, there are some Christians who view the pentacle or the pentagram as um, a representative of Jesus. So it would be, Jesus on the top, and then his crucifixion wounds are the other 4 points. That is something that I did read in my research. In only one source came up with that. So again, do your own research. The accuracy, I'm not somebody who has ever seen it that way. And when I read that, that was the first time I'd ever heard of it. So I don't know how accurate that is or how common that is. So yes, there's that little fun factoid. All right. So both the pentacle and the pentagram are used for protection. They've both been used by thousands of years. They have found the symbol in either form in ancient text or symbols, hieroglyphs, that kind of stuff. Maybe not specifically hieroglyphs, but there are different forms. And I feel like the oldest one that I saw was in Sumerian text. So it goes back thousands and thousands of years. It was not created by the Wiccans, but primarily that's who uses it. What can you use it for? It enhances, boosts magic, as well as protects you. So it can protect your physical body. It's really what you intend for it to be. And that I feel like that applies to literally everything: symbol, herb, crystal, what have you. More your intention, what's coming from here and from your energy is what it can be used for. But it is mostly associated with protection, like if you're wearing one to protect your body, enhancing or boosting magic. A lot of, if you have an altar, a lot of people will put the pentacle on their altar along with an item that represents each of the elements that are represented in the pentacle or the pentagram. So you can do your working atop a pentagram or pentacle to enhance or boost your magic. There is no difference for the usage, whether or not it has a circle around it. The only difference is noted because a pentacle can have any symbol inside and still be a pentacle. There was history on that. It really goes back to the original language that the word pentacle or pentagram is derivative of. One is Greek, and I may mix them up, so I'm not going to say which one I think is Greek. One was Greek, and one was, I believe, French. And they meant different things. So the pentacle had to do with wearing of something around the neck. So that's more what that is. And then the pentagram was specifically associated with the 5 points. So back to what else I was going to say about the pentacle and the pentagram. So it wouldn't be a complete conversation about this symbol without talking about the misinformation about the inverted pentagram or pentacle. Okay, so I might read a little bit more off of the paper for this one because I don't want to mix things up. But commonly, you probably already have heard, even if it's upright, people don't know the difference between it being inverted or upright. If somebody is pointed out, I'm stumbling here, pointed out, if you're wearing a pentacle or you have it on your shirt or a tattoo or whatever, that it represents the devil. And so they say when it's inverted, it represents the devil's horns, etc. Okay, so this is what I found out about all of that. And there is a root to that rumor, but it's not true. It's not accurate. So let's see. The rumor to represent Satan is untrue. 1, the Satanic Temple and the Church of Satan do not worship Satan. Let's get that out of the way. So inverting the pentagram was not to represent the devil and its horns, but to represent Baphomet. It was inverted purposely and I don't remember who it was. I don't remember. I believe it was the Church of Satan, not the Satanic Temple, which I believe are two separate entities, if I'm not mistaken. But it was not representative of the devil. And a lot of people, because they're not in any of the spiritual community, they don't know that there's a difference. They see like the statue of Baphomet and they think that's the devil or Lucifer, which that's a whole other video. Baphomet represents the balance of things, balance of opposites, masculine and feminine. Baphomet does not represent evil, and it is not Satan. And so there's that. But they did purposely, whoever it was, the creator, I really want to say it was the creator of the Church of Satan, that inverted the pentagram to represent Baphomet. So there's that. So that is not true. It does not represent the devil or Satan. It did intend to represent Baphomet, who is completely different entity, different deity, different whatever you want to call them. But it's to represent the balance of things, not anything evil at all. All right. So what it does do is when you invert the pentagram, I don't have one. I didn't grab one. When you invert it, I know you already know what I'm talking about, so I guess I don't need one, but it reverses the elements. So instead of having spirit on the top, you would have spirit on the bottom, right? So it reverses the elements, putting spirit below the earthly elements, valuing the physical experience. What did I put about? Valuing the physical experience above. I meant above. I wrote about above mental or spirit. So the spirit element also represents your mental element, the unseen. Your thoughts are not seen. I mean, unless you create them into something physical. Tangent. Okay. So when you invert it, and the Satanic Temple, if you read their 7 tenets, if you read their tenets, they do value life. They value the physical life. This is your experience. You are here for this physical experience. So they do value that over spirit, where having it not inverted and upright, having spirit at the top of the star, feels a little bit more, honestly, it feels a little bit more Christian-like to me. Don't cancel me for that. Because really, I grew up in the Christian church. I went to Baptist church. I went to mainly most of my memories of going to church were a primarily Black church, where it is about God first, putting God first, putting spirit first, putting what you can't see, your faith, putting that before physical. So what they did with the pentagram was they flipped it and placing value on living your experience in the here and now and being more present in the physical moment, which I don't think is necessarily all bad. So that I think that's all I have on the pentagram and the pentacle. Like I said, I will put some of the resources that I found helpful in putting this together in the description. Last but not least, we're going to pull a tarot card for the month. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, this can be, if you want to take it, if it resonates as a reading for you, then it will be a reading for you. If you want to take it as a focus card, what you maybe want to maintain focus on for the month, what if it's if it seems to resemble a goal that you might want to make for yourself, however you want to use this card, I will leave that to your intuition. But let's go ahead and give a shuffle and we will pull one card. I will also ask if you, what do you think the card means? Whether you're a reader or not, if you're not a reader, what does your intuition tell you about this card? How does this card feel for you? Of course, I will give my interpretation. All All right. We have the Queen of Swords. Oh, I can't remember what card we pulled. Hold on. I dropped it. We have the Queen of Swords for October. Okay. So, Queen of Swords can get a bad rap sometimes. She is clear, concise with her words. Swords are about communication, learning, knowledge, your thinking mind, thoughts, that sort of thing. And being the queen is about mastering that from a nurturing feminine aspect. Okay. So a lot of times Queen of Swords can get the like cutthroat kind of vibe uh, in a reading with other cards, depending on what's going on. For the single card, I would say the Queen of Swords is more about mastering your mind and being clear with your communication. Communication also wanting to focus on the aspects of October and with Dia de los Muertos coming up in November 1st, and Halloween and the veil being thin and spirit being forefront this month, I feel like this can be taken as communicating with the other side as well. So being clear in your communication, if that's what you want to focus on. Also, on this deck specifically, I'm always drawn to the spikes on her crown, protecting your crown chakra, because it is relating to knowledge and the thinking mind, possibly needing to veil this month, if that's something that you feel called to. But like I said, what is your interpretation of the Queen of Swords if we were to just apply it to the month of October? Or if it resonates as a possible reading for you, let me know in the comments as well. All right, so next month is November. Taking suggestions for a symbol, a plant, an herb, a crystal. What do you want to see for November? Coming up this month, I will tell you all of the Metaphysical Mondays. We're going to talk about sigils, how to make a sigil. I'm going to show you all the different ways that I've seen to make sigils. Okay. Also, we're going to do scrying with crystal skulls and crystals for ancestry work. So those are the upcoming Metaphysical Monday topics. If that's something that you are into, make sure you hit subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. And yeah, I'll see you in the next tarot reading. We'll have some of those sprinkled in throughout the month. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, the magic that you seek is within you already. Have a blessed day.